but they loved you for who you were and not what you do or what you had. This is why you need a God-ordained wilderness before you go into your promised land. Because God did the same thing as the children of Israel cycled around the mountain for 40 years. He allowed some of them to die along the way because they were not permitted to go into the promised land. And the reason was they were doubting, they were unbelievers, they were afraid. And we understand during processes in our life, people will come and people will go. But when you have significant loss, you can't look up and see anybody that you recognize, anybody that held you down from the beginning. That's a difficult thing. You're going to go through challenges in your life. You're going to go through situations in your life. And when the dust settles, you won't see anybody around you that you recognize. You need to thank God that they're still there. You're going to go through challenges in your life, and the same way when you was up and you thought you just had it going on, you got your W-2s back, you got your email, and money was deposited in your account. Everybody was happy. You spent all your money and then had to go ask for a loan. And you know it wasn't a long list of people that you could go to, but it was that one person that would know you in the fallacies of your life and the emptiness of your life. And they will still receive you, build you back up, and send you back out there. Honor who remain. Stop spending time grieving on who walked out of your life. When God is trying to bless you, He will bring people into your life. Not people that you like. Not people that you're comfortable with. Not people that's going to stroke your ego. They're not going to dot every I and cross every T. Their assignment for your life is to stretch you and push you into a place that you have not gone before. If you wanted a buddy or a friend, go to Chuck E. Cheese. Go to Facebook. That's where all your fake friends at. I mean, if that's what you need, go ahead. But if you want somebody that's more excited about your future than your past, you go to God and pray. Say, God, I need somebody that's going to lead me up out of this thing. I don't want to have cheesecake with them. I don't want to go to Starbucks. I don't want any of those things. I need to get out of this rut that I'm in. I need somebody with a language that's used to getting people out of ruts. Not coming down in the rut with me and be like, oh, it's nice in here. It's okay. We can stay right here. No, not so. I need somebody with a language that's going to be able to push me out of what I'm in and then also give me a language for a bright future. Honor who remain. Most relationships, not all, most relationships are built off of trust. Some relationships are built off of other things. Most relationships, quality relationships, are built off of trust. Trust is developed through transactions. I like when me and my wife, we counsel couples and we counsel even singles, we always talk about trust transactions. Trust transactions come when you give a little bit, I give a little bit. That's a transaction. You know, the more transactions that you have, the more trust that you build. But what about when there's times when there are certain levels of deposit with no withdrawal or withdrawal and no deposit? God wants to give you an inner fortitude to still be able to be there. To be able to insulate yourself enough that you don't buckle at the knees just because you're at the face of adversity, difficulty, or coming up short. Some of our greatest fears is that I don't want to commit to a certain degree because I came up short before. I don't really want to buy in all the way because of what happened before. And you will abuse your future because of how people treated you in your past. You need more transactions in your account. You can tell me all that you want. You can tell me that, oh, I love this and I love that, and I'm a good person here and I'm a good person there, and I do well stewarding over my money. You know what I'm going to say? Let me see your bank statement. Because your bank statement is going to expose unto me your transactions. And those transactions are going to tell me that you like Chick-fil-A, you like Taco Bell, and you like Rainbow, you like salad, you like a number of different things. It's going to show me every time. Y'all didn't laugh at that moment. That must not have been funny. It's going to show me every last place that you invested your time, your energy, and your money. And it's going to expose where you spend a lot of your time. At these places in your spiritual life, you need to ask yourself, where have I spent my time? Have I invested in the right thing to get the right return? If I'm expecting something out of this thing, have I put in enough time, resources, energy, and effort to get out of this thing what I put into it? If not, I need more transactions. I don't give up and walk away. I invest more into it. Looking at the text today, it says, listen to this, James 1:12, that's what we're going to work. Happy are those who remain. Somebody say remain. Happy are those who remain faithful under trials, because when they succeed in passing such a test, they will receive as their reward the life which God has promised to those who love him. I'm going to read it again. Happy are those who remain faithful under trials, because when they succeed in passing such a test, they will receive as their reward the life which God has promised to those who love him. The promise is a quality of life that you're not living right now. And it's not a mystery. It's not something that's going to blindside you. It's not the enemy jumping on you like we like to say the enemy just jumped on me. No, it's a test. Sometimes we misdiagnose what we're going through and we bind devils and we cast out devils. And the truth of the matter is, it's a test that you're going through. God is testing you to make you better. Products that we use every single day, no matter what type of product it is, it had to go through certain levels of testing before it was made for mass consumption or mass use. We get a little goosebump, a warm, fuzzy feeling, and we like to present ourselves before the masses without the test. And then once we get here and we realize, or you realize, that person has not been tested, that person has not been processed, we get hurt and say, oh, church hurt, they didn't receive my gift. Not so. You need to spend more time behind the scenes, behind closed doors, developing your character, your integrity, your honesty, deal with your inner parts before you present yourself to masses as being a complete work. God promised you a life. He promised you a life once you go through the test. And we don't like to go through certain levels of tests because it's going to expose what's inside of you. But if there is something inside of you that needs to come out, let's deal with it in an environment where we're testing out other things. Let's not put you on the shelf and put a price on you and then we're demanding top scale for a product that's broken. Can't handle pressure. As soon as you touch it, it's broken. You know what we do? We show right back up with no receipt. No, this thing didn't work. I'm bringing it back. I want my money back. It was not, able to do what it was intended to do. The package said that as seen on TV, it's supposed to cook my egg in 30 seconds. I put my egg in there, it took 2 minutes. I don't want to use it anymore. Ask yourself right now, how many times have you been offered that? Y'all don't give me anything. How many times has somebody tried to return you? How many times have people tried to use a return policy on you? Because you couldn't fulfill for them what they thought you were going to be able to do. Some valid, some invalid. But sometime or another, somebody tried to return you. Quick no receipt, I don't even want no more. You know what? Keep the money. I don't even want the money no more. You can have it and that. You have been dropped off one time or another. And it was a testing of your faith of how you were going to respond and get back up. And it came at the hand and at the face of people that were familiar with you. People said that I love you. People said that I'm going to be there for you. These were strangers and robbers that showed up and did something malicious. These were people that wiped your tears from your eyes. These were people that encouraged you or at least had an appointment or some type of goal to do that for you. But then they dropped you off when they were done with you. And then you quickly present yourself to somebody else on sale. So, if you're anything like me, I go to Family Dollar, which is one of my favorite stores. And I walk the aisles, I see the price of everything, and then I sneak over to the clearance rack. I know y'all like to pay top dollar. But I check out the clearance rack because there's a difference in price. I can have this little Donald Trump Chia Pet. $3.99. Put on the clearance rack. It's 69 cents. I can have that same product that says as seen on TV. It's $10 on sale right here. But over here, it's $2.99. So what do? It's the same thing. All of y'all grew up in households with your mom, your father. Y'all got that cereal. It wasn't Fruit Loops. Fruity O's. Loopy Fruit. And what was their response? It's the same thing. Some milk on there. We ain't got the milk. Get you some water. Listen. And we will dummy down and purchase the discounted thing because we feel that we're safe. And the reason why it's on clearance is because it's been returned or mishandled. How many times have you been placed on the clearance rack in somebody's life because you've been returned or mishandled? Who handles you with the also for where you are. And until you get that language and the right people putting the right hand and applying the right pressure to your life, you're going to discount your own value. People will be able to say, no, it's not even worth it. No, I'm not even going to do it. That's the sound of somebody on the clearance rack. You say, I'm not even going to try. I'm just done with this. That's the sound of somebody on the clearance rack. You've been handled wrong. You've been returned. You've been dropped. And we can see it on you. Got identified in this clearance, so we put a big red sticker on you. Only 99 cents. And how do we treat clearance stuff? If you're anything like me, you rummage through it. It ain't like we put it back. Y'all know how y'all do when y'all go to Walmart. Y'all go to Walmart, pick up some milk, and y'all put it back where the clothes is. Y'all are so wrong. Y'all won't say it, but I'm going to talk about it this morning. Y'all do not put things back. You get something from the freezer aisle, you put it where the socks are. Right? And what happens with that product? It devalues. If you ever go to Walmart, they have a whole section of stuff that people didn't put back. And then somebody's assigned to go back and put all of the stuff back that y'all have misplaced. You need to thank God that somebody's assigned to put you back where you belong. Yes. Left out too long, listen to me. Left out too long, your value changes and we can't do nothing with you. Left out too long, you're no good. Your expiration date will make a difference. You sat out too long. I know your expiration date is this, but you were out of context and in the right environment too long. It makes a difference. Who hands on you? Makes a difference with the environment that you're in. You won't find an environment that's conducive to your future that's comfortable. You will be uncomfortable. I'd rather tell you the truth now. I'd rather tell you the truth so that you won't go try to find Comfort Christian Center to sit there and think that you can walk in all that God has for your life. You will be very so much uncomfortable and stretched and pulled. But God is not setting you up just for one person to use you, or even hear from you, or even see that you're of value. But He's trying to set you up for masses to be able to touch you and handle you, and you don't lose value, you don't lose price. But people are able to recognize that this person has gone through testing, they've gone through process, they've been handled, they've been used, and I know if I can take them through a process and test, surely I can stand them before people so that once you get here, it ain't about your gift, it ain't about what you got to say, it ain't about how well you preach, sing, or teach. Once you get here, you talk about how when you were broken, how your back was against the wall, you didn't have nobody to trust you, everybody left your side, but for some odd reason, there was a small, still voice that said, I'm still here, and I'll never leave you or forsake you, but I'll hold your hand, I'll guide you through, I'll wipe your tears. You didn't have a plethora of people, it wasn't all 5,000 of your Facebook friends, it was only God that stepped in where everybody lost shows, the Lord, you lost everybody on your side, and then He built your value back up. It comes a place in your life, in time, you got to get handled differently. It's only a test. Listen to me. Talk to yourself. Don't talk to me. Say, I'm going through a test.
I'm going through a test.
You need to be reminded of that. It's just a test, guys. The enemy's not prevailing. The money's funny. It's just a test. Let me get back to my text. Me and my wife were driving to Chicago, Illinois. I didn't know there were so many tolls that were required because I never been before. And every time that we went to a toll, we were looking at how much money we had compared to how much money we had to put out. And some of those tolls, you take a ticket, and then you go a little bit further, and then you have to pay the ticket. So there was an unexpected type of amount that we didn't know about. I'm used to 70 cents. I'm used to $1.25. It's stationary. It's standard. We know it, but it never changes. I did not know there was a cost attached to how far I go. So if I got off the highway earlier, it was less of a cost. But if I stayed on the whole route,
my God,
more.
My God.
Some of y'all have too many detours because you ain't going to pay the whole cost.
Jesus.
The language of our ride begins to be like, God will provide. Because I'm amazed that every time we go up to another toll, we got to take another ticket. She's like, don't worry about it. God will provide. Went to another toll. God will provide. Went to another toll. I said, I don't want to hear that no more. With all of my heart. I need another word. I need another word. Because I'm looking at this God. Unless he's sending a bird or a raven. But because our journey was attached to a destination that was further than that first exit or that second exit, we had to change the language of our ride. We had to change the perspective. Our journey was attached to something more than what we could walk to or just get on a little bike or something like that. It was attached to a place that we had to get to on time.
Yes.
We will settle to pull off the road, make a phone call and say, I'm not going to make it. That's good for the family cookout. That's good for, meeting up with your girlfriend, your homeboy from college. You can't use that type of excuse when you're trying to get to destiny.
My God.
You can't use that type of excuse when your future's on the line. I can't make it. I won't make it. I don't have enough in me to pay the required fees to get there. You're gonna have the language, you're gonna have to have a language and a sacrifice that's gonna give you inner fortitude to stay focused on your journey despite you feeling like you don't have enough to get there. And despite you feeling like it's not enough in me, no, it's not enough in the people that's in this car with me. You begin to question, like, how'd y'all get in this car with me? Y'all ain't got enough. Why are you in this car with me? That's what faith does. Faith will put you in things where everybody will be restricted and limited. Not because the enemy is prevailing, but to test your levels of faith.
Yes.
Silver and gold have I not. Apostles were limited in their resources. They had money, would have gave the man money. Such as I have, I freely give unto you. 13 says, if we are tempted by such trials, we must not say, this temptation comes from God. For God cannot be tempted by evil, and he himself tempts no one. There is a difference between temptations and tests. David fell with Bathsheba not because of a test from God. It was because of temptation. Abraham had to sacrifice Isaac because of a test. It's different. And you got to know the difference of what you're dealing with and going through. Because if you know the difference, you will respond different. Happy is he who knows who their God is. There's a peace that you will have. There's a reservation that you will have if you know that I'm in a test right now. So I know that, certain things are going to happen. I know that this is a part of the process. If I had went that journey before to Chicago in that car, I would have already known the sacrifice that I had to put out. But I was being tested at the level of my faith to change my language and my perspective. You need to know what you're going through. You need to know what you're dealing with so you can give it the proper language. Because if you get off the exit too early, if you abort the journey too soon, you will blame the devil for what God was trying to do in your life. The Bible says, but we are tempted, we are drawn away and trapped by who? Our own evil desires. We are tempted when we are drawn away and trapped by our own evil desires. Then our evil desires conceive and give birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. Do not be deceived, my dear friends. Every good and every perfect present comes from heaven. It comes down from God, the creator of the heavenly lights, who does not change or cause darkness by turning. 18 says, but his own will he brought us into, being through the word of truth, so that we should have first place among all his creatures. Wait a minute. It says at 12, happy are those who remain faithful under trials. 18 says, by his own will he brought us into being through the word of truth, so that we should have first place among all creations. So as you go through the trials, it's not about what he's trying to take from you. It's about a future position that he's trying to get you to. This is why I understand that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. But what does that look like in my life? Tests and trials. Things that I'm going to have to lose and endure. People that I'm going to have to lose and endure. Situations, comfort zones, conveniences. I'm going to have to lose them to get to the place where he positions me where I belong. That place is to be first. Now here's the problem. You really don't have a problem with failure. You have a problem with success. You have not seen first in your family handled in the context of God's perspective. You haven't seen first in your associations, in your friendships, in your circles of influence. You haven't seen people be able to rise to the top and be humble enough to even get more from God. Usually there's a sacrifice of humility, of integrity on your way up. We'll cut corners, we'll cut off friends, we'll stop dealing with people. Why? Because we're trying to fight for a position that it says that if I go through it appropriately, without falling to my temptations, he will give it to me without fight. There's a lot of space in the place where God has for you, because he doesn't want you there by yourself. It's just like when you're hanging out and you are unemployed for a season and then you're the first one to get the job. You become public enemy number one. Girl, where you been? Oh, I'm working. Oh, you think you all that now? No, I'm just employed. When we was all unemployed, going half on oodles and noodles, we were good. When we was all putting our money together trying to find something, it was great. But I came out first. And because I came out first, now you have a problem with me. God has to not just use trials and things like that to show you your enemy. Sometimes he has to bless you. Sometimes he has to bring you out first just to show you that there were people around you who were fine while you were stuck. They were fine while you were on credit. They were fine while you were discounted. They were fine while you were mishandled. You can be careful with people that are okay with you being hurt. How you trying to do this now? Because I ain't in a good place. I know that's bad grammar, but this situation is bad as well. Not in a good place, mind, body, and spirit, and I need to come up out of here. And if you're more attached to me staying here, you're a part of the problem. I don't even blame you. I take some of the responsibility myself. I ain't even never eat this type of food, act this type of way, speak this type of way until I got around you. And I thank God that he stayed with me through my process to whisper in my ear to let me know that you're better than this. I have an anointing on your life. I'm trying to raise you up to do something that ain't nobody ever done in your life before. So stop running away from me and begin to run unto me. Because I'm going to make you the first. I'm going to make you the head. I'm going to make you the leader. And never the ball. I'm almost done. It says, remember this. My dear friends, I'm at 19. Everyone must be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Everyone must be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. It's funny how dealing with tests and trials, dealing with God-ordained wilderness and situations that he has permitted in our lives, his response is, be quiet. It's funny how the antidote to all of this, people being removed, situations changing, familiar faces become distant. Don't you open your mouth. It's funny how he would tell us, the sons and daughters of God, because this is why we don't like. We just want to jump and shout, put our feet on the enemy and run and do those things. Those are great. Those are great. Because we sometimes muster up a sound that's attached to what we're going through. It was a sound that came up out of Egypt. He said, my sons and my daughters have prayed, Moses. Because of this intercession and this sound that has been released up from Egypt, I've sent you to go deliver them. When they crossed over the Red Sea, there was a sound of freedom and liberation that came forth. Miriam grabbed the tambourines. They began to jump. They began to shout because they had made it out of Egypt. The song of the Lord says, Pharaoh and his army are drowned in the Red Sea. This was a sound attached to their freedom. But what will you do when God tests and trials you? Takes you through situations and says, don't you open your mouth. But, no buts. I have multiple children. I hear that word more than any other word in our household. But, no buts. And if you were raised like I was raised, there was a point in time that your parents looked at you and like, don't you open your mouth. Because they were trying to show us not to do open your mouth. Don't you say another word. Silence is an art. Silence is a skill. It's not a gift. If it was a gift, only certain people can shut their mouths. Because it's a skill. It's something you have to learn and practice and get better at. Especially if you're used to getting the last word. That's your validation. Watch this. That's how you value yourself. So you haven't always found yourself on the clearance rack because people put you there. You spoke your way there. You talked yourself in and put it right back out.
Wow.
It wasn't always just somebody else mishandling. It was the mishandling of your own hands, on your own life. This is not, what is it, DIY, do it yourself? It's the do it yourself gospel. You're going to have to give permission to somebody's hand resting on your life and handling you. But it's always been this way. How did that work out for you? I've always done it this way. Show me some fruit. Convince me, sell me, close me on the deal. Oh, I don't have it. I'm jacked up right now. Let somebody else try it. You say rocket science. Your words can bring you into a place of bondage. Be slow to speak. Be slow to talk, but be very quick to listen. He's telling you, close your mouth. We listen just to speak. We don't listen to comprehend. We wait for the other person to stop talking so we can talk. So we like, I'm listening. No, you're not. You're just waiting for silence. As soon as silence breaks, you're going to talk. Let me finish. I'm going to let you finish, but let me say this. I am listening. You're really not comprehending and processing. Listening requires comprehension and processing. And if your filters of your processing system have not been cleaned in a while, you're going to filter it just like you filter on Instagram. Trying to find the easiest thing to deal with this situation. I want to look through it from this perspective and that perspective. There's only one perspective. You're being tested by God. You know on the back of your mind, in the back of your head, that God's trying to raise me up. There's only one perspective that matters. It makes no difference if you get the last word. It makes no difference what's hereditary, your lifeline, your bloodline. That doesn't make a difference now. The only thing that makes the difference is God getting glory out of your life. I'm going to text that I'm done. The reason why Gideon could not take all of those people into the place of victory, or even more faith, because he could not get glory out of the multitude of people that he was attached to. My wife reminded me last night, I must have said it last week, I don't know if it happened for you, but it happened for me. God's going to try you this week. I said last week. It's going to remove all the scary people from your life.
Yes.
God said, hey man, the preacher was good. Good church service last week. I mean, it was just so good. And then it started to happen, and you get grieved. Yeah. You're like, what happened? What? And you start to fight for these connections. When you clapped at the fact that he was going to do it. This wasn't the enemy, this is the test. Take your hand off his son. Take your hand off your daughter. Stop reaching for people that are moving from you. Amen. It's not going to feel good. That's right. It's not going to feel good. You You can't base this next level move off of your feelings or your emotions. You can't base it off of what you want, how well you can do it. You got to allow God to remove the people, because if they're not attached to your future, it doesn't make a difference. He has to remove them. He loves you enough, listen, to tell you the truth. Will you love me if I tell you the truth? If it takes them too long to answer, don't look for them in your future. Because there will be certain languages and certain things that you're going to have to say they're not going to like. They won't lie. There will come a day and a time when people will be more prone and have itchy ears to hear things that are just nice and convenient. Yes. You'll be a joker like me. And I'll tell you the truth. That this is not what God called you to be. I don't care what your money look like. I don't care what your health look like. I don't care what it is. I'm fine right here. You're not fine right here. You've settled. And because you've settled, you have a language of settlement. I'm okay. I don't need to do nothing. I won't move. Yes, you will move. Yes, you will live. Yes, you will progress. That agitates people. But you need to thank God that that voice, that person, remained in your life. For some of you, this is new. You ain't had nobody like that. You ain't had nobody that was attached to you and really didn't want nothing from you. That's uncomfortable. Because you got your little meme and your Facebook thing down. So when you start getting certain levels of connectivity, you say, who sent you? Why are you here? I don't want to do anything but to love you, says the Lord.
Amen.
That's why I don't care how bad you sin. I don't care how you fall short. I don't care what the mistake is. I'm going to still remain in your life. There were people that migrated from the 22,000 to the 10,000 to the 300. Scripture tells us that he had to break the 300 into companies of 100. There were people that made it through the process. Gideon did not grieve over the people that left. He honored God and was grateful over who remained. Everybody stand. I want you to lift your hands this morning. This could be a little bit different in the request. I know when you usually go to church, they say, if you want to join the church, come down. If you want to join church, that's fine. I don't want to see you again. I want this to stick to your ribs. I want this word to meditate in your heart and your mind throughout this week. It'll make a difference if that person is going home to be with the Lord. It don't make a difference if the person is right beside you. It don't make a difference if that person is in your cell phone, his family, his friend, or whatever. I want you to lift your hands this morning. I want you to thank God for those who remain. The people that stuck in there with you. The people that fought with you when you didn't believe in yourself, when you gave up on yourself, when you wanted to turn it all over. Just leave me alone. Get away from me. I don't want you no more. That wasn't an authentic statement. That was hurt. It was frustration. That was a coping mechanism because everybody else had left you. I want you to lift your hands. I want you to just thank God for those who remain. They made it through the cut. They made it through the process of elimination. And the entire time, they didn't want nothing from you. They didn't ask for no money. They were there with their arms open wide. Lift your hands and begin to worship God today. Begin to worship God today. Begin to worship God today. Come on, I feel glory just slipped in this room. The Spirit of God has slipped into this place. Lift your hands today. God is healing some of y'all right now. He's healing some of y'all right now. Some of y'all this week just take the opportunity to go back to that grandparent, go back to your parents, say, you know what, thank you. Thank you for loving me. I didn't dot every I. I didn't cross every T. But I thank you that you never gave up on me. You never turned me over. You never returned me. You never pushed me to the side. You never devalued me. You never disrespect me. I thank you because you remained in my life. A firm voice. A fair voice. We didn't always agree. We didn't always see eye to eye. But you never walked away from my side. Lift your hands today and thank God for those who remain. They remain faithful. They remain hospital. They had to come down to the lockup. They had to go down to the court building. But for some odd reason, they did not give up on you. Thank God for who remains. I'm sitting here after all the mess that I kicked up in my life. I just didn't have people who showed up when everything was good, showed up when everything was jumping off. I had faithful people that were dedicated to my process. And I am so forever grateful that they saw my future, even though my present day looked so bad. They were able to project a hope for me that I didn't see in myself. Some of y'all have looked through 6-inch glass and seen faces that didn't give up on you. You looked from the hospital bed when nobody else showed up. You saw that place. When you looked from that place when you was busted and disgusted, they came down to the crack house. They came down to the every other place and pulled you up out of there. It did not make a difference of how jacked up your situation was. They were reminded of the promise of God that says that you were going to live, that you were going to make it, that you were going to prevail. Thank God for who remained in your life. Careful of people that show up when everything starts clicking and coming together. Be careful of people that show up when they see your name in life. How many people can look past the success, look past the money, and get you in a broken place? Everybody can't take a clearance item and bring value to it. You gotta have a skilled eye to see the value in something when it's broken.
Mama, sing, hallelujah.
Lift your hands around this church. Deliverance is moving through this place. You won't find all fixed and put together. You was broken. You were mishandled. Some of you were dropped. Some of you were abused.